We have an offer, acceptance, legal obligation, promise. Cons- Consent is willingness to accept the offer which is made or the promise which is made. So, any contract, there should be at least two parties. Either of the parties, there should not be a coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation, or mistake. Then, if any of these are implied, then there would be that the contract becomes void. So, consent basically is willingness of a person or willingness of the parties to a contract, and it must come freely. If it is coming through coercion, under influence, or fraud or misrepresentation or by mistake, then it would be a void contract or an agreement. Now we'll look each one of them and what is the consequences of it. Coercion is something by force or compelling another person to enter into a contract. For example, X owes Y rupees 10,000 and he threatens him to kill Y if the latter does not release him from the debt which he is holding. So, anywhere where there is a crime or a threatening, then there is a coercion. So, this is criminal and this is against the law. So, legal action would be taken. So, committing or threatening to commit any act which is forbidden by law by forcing someone, then it is as per law it is void and action would be taken accordingly. Undue influence. Any idea what would be undue influence? Coercion is by force or threatening. What is undue influence? Okay, give a guess at least.
Manipulating, ma'am.
Very good. Manipulating. Now, this usually happens between a person who has a greater influence than the other party. There are two persons to the party. The first one or the second one has a better influence than the other one. For example, it can be a master and a servant, doctor and a patient, a teacher and a student, parent and a child. In all these cases, if through undue influence I enter into a contract, then it is said to be a void contract and it is not acceptable by law also. Until you can change the deal later, or there can be alterations in the contract where you don't give him or when you don't compel him because you are a superior that you are asking him. If you do not put that, then it can be a valid contract. But if you are using your influence, the prior authority, if you're using that, then it becomes a void contract. Now, are you able to understand the difference between coercion and undue influence? Coercion is threatening. Undue influence is using of power or authority. And I gave you an example where this can be in the case of a master servant, it can be a landlord and a tenant, creditor and a debtor, trustee beneficiary, principal and the agent, insured person and the insurer, etc. So, all these cases where one holds a higher position than the other, then you cannot influence or you cannot force him to enter into a contract just because of the position that you hold. It is left to the option of the other person to the contract to accept it or not to accept. Clear with the first two? Can we move to the third one? Now I'll give you some examples also for this. For example, if a devotee in this, there was a case of Manu Singh versus Umayya Pandey, where a devotee in this case agreed to give his entire property to a spiritual guru. And what did the spiritual guru in consideration promised the devotee? He said that he would save him from all his sins, for which his devotee, all his property he has donated to him. So the devotee's consent was secured by undue influence. Why I do this? How is it an undue influence? Because I'm using my power. I'm not threatening or I'm not telling him to do it something forcefully. I'm just giving him an assurance using my power that I am a guru and I ask my devotee to transfer the property or gift the entire property to me in consideration of something. Though everything is subject as per law, there is undue influence, so it will not be a valid contract at all. Is that clear, students? Coercion and undue influence. Here we are using one's position. Here you are threat. Okay. Now the third one is fraud. This very often you must have heard of this term fraud. What is fraud? What is fraud? Like I said, there are two persons in a contract. Now how can you or how is a fraud conducted within the contract? How does it happen? Or you can give me an example also. Any one of you, come on, this is so common that we come across fraud. Think and tell me an example of at least fraud. There are two persons in a party. One of them can do a fraud many times. Okay, tell me, explain further. What is that? I know, I know. What is that?
Ma'am, he cheated like for 9,000 crores or something, ma'am.
Okay. Now,
Uh, and he escaped out of India, ma'am. So,
okay,
so bank took over his assets to come over his the debt which he created.
okay. What is fraud?
Fraud is like cheating, ma'am.
Very good. Okay. Anyone else? Good. Fraud is like cheating. Anyone can give a better explanation? They all said a right example that there was a lot of fraud done by Vijay Malia. He did this, that, and all. Okay. Anyone else can explain it much better? Fraud.
Like example, ma'am.
Either example or explain it much better.
Ma'am, there was a sale of 251 rupees phone, ma'am.
Very
Freedom
good.
251.
Hmm.
He said that by paying for 251 rupees, you'll get a phone,
Hmm.
and everyone just paid in total everything. But at last, he didn't give them any phones, ma'am. So it's like most legal scam ever made, ma'am.
Superb student. Very good. Okay. So let us understand. A fraud as per the contract or as per legal business law, how do we express it is when a party to an agreement makes a false representation of fact deliberately, that is intentionally, then it amounts to fraud. Okay, where you know that it is something wrong and still you carry on the activity deliberately, that is intentionally you do it, that is known as a fraud. And the various examples that we had gone through, all these are correct. So clear with the first three: coercion, undue influence, and fraud. So what would happen if what can the affected party do in the case of a fraud? Let us take the last example that he said. Yeah, there was so what did he say, ma?
Ma'am, that 251 rupees phone, ma'am. Freedom
Okay,
251.
in that case, if assume you were the purchaser or you were, what is it that you can claim?
Ma'am, I can't get you, ma'am.
You are being affected by the contract. Okay, that you have, there was a misrepresentation of the subject matter. You have purchased it. Now, what is it that you can do? What can the affected party do in the case of a fraud?
Mm, maybe report it to a police station or court. Can file a case against the company.
Okay, one is you can file a case against them. Then, There are three things which you can do. One is you can file a case. Second and third, what is assume you very good claim for damages, and you can ask the seller or ask the seller that you have given me a wrong product, and you can ask him to replace it in place of whatever was offered. Okay, so there are three things which an affected party can do. One, he can file a complaint or he can file a suit against in the court. Two, he can ask the buyer that I have not received the as per the contract as per the details which has been mentioned. And three is I can claim for the entire damages that I have. Might be that because of this something else was pending. So usually some cases do have that because of this the other also, like I had to catch a flight, but because of certain misrepresentation or something, or due to something which is I was not able to catch the flight, so there might be an important contract which I have lost. So all of this can be claimed if there is a fraud. So claiming of the damages can also be done in case of clear with the first three. Okay, now fraud is intentionally that I misrepresent the data. What is misrepresentation? Misrepresentation of the data. Or you can give me an example of this also, misrepresentation. Fraud is something which is intentionally, I know the fact, but I said it. Misrepresentation is just the opposite of fraud, where the offerer is not aware. Yes, someone. Mm, completed. You've not completed it. It is a fraud, no? It is not. It is not misrepresentation. It is a fraud, where intentionally he knows that it is a gold watch, but he is not telling the fact that it is a gold watch. That is fraud. Anyone else wants to try? Okay, I think misrepresentation is something like the offerer of the contract is not aware of the fact, and he sells it to the, or he offers to the acceptor, and the acceptor accepts it also. Like in the case of Naman which we told just now, the case of gold watch, he offers to sell it to be telling that it is a gold watch. But when he sells it in the market, he finds out that it is not the amount of gold, it is not a pure gold which he had promised. So even the offerer was not aware of it. So he cannot do anything. Of course, he can claim for the damages because he is paid for assuming it that it is gold only. But since there is a misrepresentation of data, you can it is not intentionally that it is misrepresenting the data. So what can he do? He can either avoid the contract and return back the product itself, or he can insist in that as assured by you, you had offered me a gold watch, so give me a gold watch. Is that clear, students? Are you able to understand the difference between coercion, undue influence, fraud, and representation? I'll repeat it again. Coercion is by threatening or by force. Undue influence is by authority or power. Fraud is I know the fact, but I still try to sell it intentionally. Misrepresentation is the person who is selling is not aware of the facts and he sells it. And last one is mistake. What is mistake? You all usually use this term. It is by mistake I posted, ma'am. It is by mistake that you did, ma'am. What is mistake? It is an incorrect idea or opinion about something, wherein you are not aware of it. So it is an incorrect. You don't have the correct idea or opinion about something, then it amounts to a mistake. For instance, you cannot. There is a law now. Okay, like as per the law, you are not supposed to cross the road on a when it is a red light. Okay, but by mistake you go. You cannot tell that you are not aware of the law that in the red light I was not aware that you have to stop your vehicle. Ignorance of law is no excuse. You cannot say that you are not aware. It is your duty to see that you are aware of at least the basic things. So, as per law, ignorance of law is never taken into consideration. If you say that it is a mistake, no one would accept it. So, you should be aware of whatever the laws are relating to anywhere, whatever you are doing. So, no excuse would be granted in that case. Clear with all the one, 2, 3, 4, 5 types of consent. Consent is willingness to a contract. So, all these, there should be a free consent. There are two parties, it should be free and it should be a valid one. When it is not free and not valid, it would not amount to a consent, where it is by coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation, and mistake. I give you 5 minutes. Just take out time and recollect what we have done. If you still have a doubt, just ask. Always keep in mind, students, ignorance of law is no excuse. You cannot say I was not aware of. To pay attention, any one of you can attend answering it. We just have three case studies, so you can just compare them. Now listen to this carefully. M, while selling his scooter to N, tells N that the scooter is in an excellent condition. Okay, he sells the scooter to N, telling him that it is in a very good condition. Actually, it is not in a good condition. Now, what is the relief available to N? What can N do? I'll repeat. I want to sell a scooter. The scooter is not in a good condition. So, what, as a buyer, as a purchaser, what is it that I have a relief towards? What is the relief that is available to me?
Ma'am, consumer court, ma'am.
What is this? Firstly, tell me that. What does it come under? Coercion, fraud, undue influence, misrepresentation, or mistake? Okay. Naman, you've been answering a lot of time, you will not answer. Okay, it is a fraud. Why? Because it's a misrepresentation of the fact though I am aware of. And the remedy available to him is
Ma'am,
he can either, yes, ma'am.
ma'am, is fraud and misinterpretation the same, or we can't use both the terms equally,
Yeah,
ma'am?
yeah. Misrepresentation,
And fraud, ma'am.
fraud is intentional. Okay, this is an extension of what Naman has told. A purchases piece gold ring by fraud. It is openly said that he purchases the piece gold ring by fraud. Okay, what happens is before B avoids the contract, A sells the ring to C. I'll repeat. A purchases the gold ring to B, or A purchases B's gold ring by fraud because he's already purchased by fraud. Now, before B is avoiding the contract, A sells the ring to C, who buys it in good faith and for value. What can B do? And repeat, students, A and B are two persons in the contract already. So A purchases B's gold ring by fraud. But before B avoids the contract, A sells the ring to C, who buys it in good faith and for value. So he is paying it also. Now what can B do? Understand the concept very clearly. In the first case, he is selling it to B, which is by fraud. He purchases it by fraud. And before B avoids, A is only the person who is selling. Then he's selling it to B by fraud. Now, before B avoids the contract, he sells it to another person C for a value and in good faith. What can B do? Who has obtained it by fraud? What can he do? No one. No. B has no remedy, ma, because A has already sold it to C. And though it is actually by fraud, and he cannot even avoid the contract also because it is already sold, so that the deal is over. So he cannot do anything. Everyone is blinking clear or what? Vinay, Kishan, Arjun. Okay, we'll do with the last one now. Okay, this is also a very different one. B buys an article from S thinking that it is worth rupees 500. He buys it from S thinking that it is for rupees 500. But the actual worth is only rupees 50. Can we avoid the contract and return the article?
No, ma'am, you cannot.
Very good. He cannot avoid the contract. Why?
Ma'am, because the person who purchased, he thought that the value was more. It was never
Mm.
said that the person who was selling, he told that this is the value of the article. The person who was buying is only the one interpreting and thinking that the value was more.
All of you have got that. Okay, so all clear with at least the concepts of what is consent. Consent is willingness to a contract. Always there are two persons to a contract, purchase of A and B, who is the offerer and the offer, etc. And we did that should come free. The consent should be free, and it should not be by coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation, and by mistake. Ignorance of law is no excuse. I cannot say that it was by mistake that I sold it. You will have to face the consequences in any terms. So, this is what we have done today and various examples to it. Any doubts still here? What Vinay will take the attendance once again?